Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that someone gave me that had great wisdom. And what they said to me was, don't pee in your water. Do not pee in your water. Ordinary glass. Person said to me, when you're going through life, don't pee in the water because you never know. One day you might need to take a sip of that water. And if you peed in it, that water ain't gonna taste so good going down. Now by that, here's what I mean. Last year, when COVID hit with a ton of bricks. And for the most part, a lot of people were suffering. Everybody was suffering. There were deaths and infections all over the place. And of course, economically, we were suffering as well. The government decided in order to help people, we had to do something to help the economy. So the government, with the help of the Fed, decided start printing some checks. Start printing money and sending out these checks to help the people. Many of them have lost their jobs. They lost their only source of income. Businesses have lost customers. They're closing down or going out of business. So we need to do something to help people and businesses. So the government said to the Fed, print some money, print a lot of it. We're going to send it out to people so that'll get them through this storm. So that's what we did. Now, a lot of people are thinking, are doing analysis and they're trying to explain to people what's happening now. Prices are skyrocketing, gas prices are out of control, food prices are out of control, housing prices are out of control. And everything is skyrocketing. Plus, on top of it, we have a war and we have food chain shortages. We have all these problems. Now, I just want to break this down to you so that it can be understood very simply. And that is this. We, meaning the government and the people of the United States, accepted it. We did this to ourselves. And here's how we did it. COVID came along and it started a torrent of problems for us. People were dying and getting infected and we had no medicine to fight it. So what we did was we had to stay home to stop spreading this disease. And when you're at home, you're not working, we're not making anything, we're not servicing any people, we're not manufacturing anything. We're not growing anything. That's what's happening. So there is nothing being made or manufactured. There's nothing going on because people are home. And when you're at home, you still need money because you still need to pay your bills. So what are you going to do? The government said, we know what to do. We will pay you. We will send you money so that you can still pay your bills and live a fairly good lifestyle. So that's exactly what we did. Now, how does the government do that? They call up the Fed and they said, we need money. Start printing money because we're going to send that money out to the people of the United States. And that's exactly what they did. And all of us that received those stimulus checks and that money, guess what we did? We spent that money, which is what we would normally do. We spent it. We bought stuff, we went on vacation, we paid our bills, we were able to continue to live. Now, anybody that's a high school economics teacher knows, and everyone listening to the sound of my voice should know this. Anytime you put a lot of anything into the market, the value of that item is going to go down. So if you flood our country with money, the value of our money is going to go down because there is too much of it around. And people are spending lots of it, like the supply ain't going to end. Well, the supply does end at some point because nobody has unlimited money. And nobody is going to spend unlimited money. That's not going to happen. So at some point, the supply of stimulus checks that they were sending out to everyone, that stopped. That ended. Fast forward to this year, 2022, now we have inflation, which is caused by too much money being sent into the market. Now, who caused this? It was the idea of the government to send us this money so that it would help us to live, knowing that sooner or later, we're going to have inflation because now we got too much money in the market. But we need to help the people now, so we'll deal with that problem later. We'll deal with that problem next year. So here it is next year, and we have that problem, and it's worse than they thought it was going to be. So now we need to slow down the economy. Too much money, houses are getting too expensive. We got to slow things down. So to do that, the Fed has two options: raise the interest rates or lower the interest rates. If we raise the interest rates, that's going to slow things down because it's going to be more expensive to do business. It's going to be more expensive to take out loans or use your credit card. So that will slow things down. Things will get more expensive, so people will not spend as much money, which is exactly what is happening right now. Things are so expensive now, people are not spending any money. And they knew this was going to happen. We knew. This is nothing new. This is just history repeating itself. The people that are in government, some of the wisest, most brilliant minds of our time who are very well educated, they knew. They knew this was going to happen. It's not a big surprise. It's happened many, many times before. So when you're looking at a predictor of what's going to happen in the future, all you need to do is look at history. That'll tell you exactly what is going to happen just by looking at history. History has shown us that when we do exactly what we did, send out a lot of money to people and constituents, if we give them a lot of money, they're going to spend it. And the value of that money is going to go down because there's too much of it around. This is nothing new. But don't act like it's a surprise that we're in this predicament now where we have this inflation and things cost so much money. We knew this was going to happen. But the idea was, we'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that next year. So here it is next year. And we're paying almost $5 a gallon for gas here on the East Coast. On the West Coast, they are paying more than $5 a gallon for gas. Housing prices are skyrocketing. So the Fed is now raising interest rates, which they did, to try and slow things down. Things are going to slow down. How do I know? Because history tells me that's what's going to happen. I don't need the analysts to tell me what's going to happen. I know. Based on history, I can tell every one of you within the sound of my voice what is going to happen. And here's what's going to happen. As interest rates rise and things get more expensive to buy, people are going to buy less. They're not going to go out and spend their money. They're going to stay home. They're not going to travel. They're not going to go on vacation. They're going to stay home. They're going to hoard the little money that they have left, and they're going to keep it. They're not going to spend it. So the businesses that depend on us spending money, especially the people in the hospitality business, if you're thinking that we're coming out to be hosted and to go on vacation at your resorts, you are so wrong. There's no way that people are going to go do that. Not when we're spending $5 to go to put 1 gallon of gas in our car. No way we're going to go on vacation and spend even more money at overpriced resorts. There's no way we're going to do that. So we're going to hoard our money. We're going to stay home. We're not going to spend as much, which means that companies are not going to make as much money. So Guess what they're going to do? They need to cut expenses. And the first place they love to cut is payroll. Now, it's going to be hard for them to do that because businesses are already understaffed. So it's going to be hard to cut payroll even more because you're already understaffed. And you have more and more people leaving their jobs. So where else are you going to cut? You're going to have to cut services. You have to give people less for their money. And if you do that, people are not stupid. They're going to see they're getting less. So they're not going to buy your product. So that's going to make your company be in even worse shape than it is. So this is what happens. So here we are. Inflation is high. Prices are high. And the value of our dollar, the money that we have in our pocket, is getting lower and lower and lower. Now, today, the CPI numbers came out. It was worse than anybody thought it was going to be. CPI, for those of you who don't know, Consumer Price Index. And it tells us how bad inflation is and is going to get. It was worse than anybody thought. Now, tomorrow, the PPI numbers are going to come out, the Producer Price Index. And I'm going to tell you today what is going to happen tomorrow. I am the great predictor. Tomorrow, when the Producer Price Index numbers come out, they are going to be just as bad. That number tells us how much producers' prices are going to change. Those numbers are going to be bad. Producer price numbers have been skyrocketing. They've been going up and up and up. People are not going to pay high prices for anything anymore. So businesses are not going to be able to charge high prices because people are not going to pay it. They're going to stay home. They're not going to do that. They're going to look for bargains, and they're going to find bargains because some geniuses are going to get the idea we can make money by charging less for something. We don't need to charge as much. And people will find those bargains and they will buy those products. And the companies that have been used to charging high prices for things and overcharging people for things, you're going to find yourself between a rock and a hard place because you're used to charging a lot of money for things and now you won't be able to. Places that you were able to go on vacation that charge you a lot of money to go there, to stay there, to have fun there, you're not going. You're not going to go because it's too expensive. And why do you need to go anyway? To spend a lot of money that you don't want to spend. So, we have peed in our water. And now this year we have to take a nice, big, healthy sip of that water. And it ain't going to taste good going down. It doesn't taste good. We peed in our water last year. And now this year we got to take a nice, healthy sip of that water. Who wants to take a sip first? Who wants to be the first to take a sip in the water that we peed in that we knew we shouldn't have peed in? I don't. So, stay tuned, folks. The water's going to get real churny and rough coming down the road. Come back to the great predictor, and I will tell you what's going to happen next. See you in the next one.